Hey y'all, how's it going? I'm trading the ES futures on a 2000 tick chart with a 21 EMA. So I've got the overnight high up here and the overnight low down here. These are our key levels for the day. So I started trading at 8 Central Time, which is this area right here. Now, when I started trading, we have this uptrend break, and when an uptrend gets a break, you can expect prices to attempt a new high. And we have these two legs down right here. Now, I still don't like going long on this bar right here, this bar closing above the EMA. Now, there are some situations where, in one thing I do want to mention about this one more, is we have these two legs down, which are a little bit more than measured. Now, there are times when I will take a long like this. Notice how it's not off of any kind of clear support or anything. And that's part of why I don't like this trade. What I'm saying is there are some times when I would take a long that's not off of any significant support, and it's after two legs down. Now, when I do that, it's because there's two major clear legs down that can't be confused as one leg down. Now, on a big picture, this right here is one leg down. And so the point is you could trigger this trade and then make a second one of these legs down right here. So I would just want to see clearly separated legs, that isn't going to possibly end up being, two bigger legs down. Which would of course stop you out if you entered it. So it's just a little bit too risky when you're buying that's not off of support right there. It could make another leg down like that. So it's just a little bit risky, but we do push up here. I was hoping we would get like a good failed second entry where we just push above and then get two clear attempts down. But unfortunately, we just pushed above and we got this, you can see to the tick, it's a failed second entry. You got first entry short, second entry short, failure. Of course, to me, if you've watched my channel, you know that this is not a type of failed second entry I'd like. I'd just like to see a push above, two clear legs retesting with room. This one doesn't even have room to the overnight high. But really, it's just a higher low to me because I don't care about every tick down or every wick that goes by. This tick lower right here, a few ticks lower is not much compared to this huge red bar right here. So I really just see a push up and then a higher low right there. Not a failed second entry, and once again, there's no room. I mean, there's some room, but you would be pushing it out of the overnight high at that point anyway. So I don't like anything in that area. We push up. Now, we do get this right here. Let me draw this out. So we get this measured move in play. We push up. Before we reach it, we correct. We don't reach the EMA. There's no reason to go long there, but we do push up. And then as soon as we reach that measured move, we have a push down. Now, when you reach a measured move like this is a good area to look for a reversal. So we rush below the EMA. What could have happened is we form a failed second entry, a reversal pattern under the EMA, and that would have been good considering the two legs up out of the overnight high. That would have been great, but unfortunately, we don't get that. We just rush below and then get a bullish signal bar, which of course you don't want to take this long. It's not off of any support. It's technically making a double bottom with that wick, and at the time I would have the range like this, but so it's not off of any support. It's below the EMA. It's really just one leg down, one attempt to reverse. Not a good reason to go long right there. But it does push up here, though. It makes a double top. And once again, so you're making a double top at this point. You can still easily get a reversal pattern back down. Failed second entry, holding on to the EMA. You don't get that there, though. You get this lower high, but, and of course you don't want to take this double top because, after reaching that measured move, end up having another bullish push higher, which means you could just enter an uptrend. So you don't want to enter into the EMA. It's still clearly up at that point. And then this lower high, of course, I do not like this lower high. You just rejected the EMA again. The whole reason I don't like taking this right here, there's even more of a reason not to like this lower high because you just rejected that EMA again, proving it's more bullish. And so it does end up working here, though, but of course you cannot expect that to happen every time. We push lower here. Now you can see that there is technically a reversal pattern. You can see we push lower to here, break back up. That's your first entry long, second entry long, failure. So you can kind of see that failed second entry pattern. Now, before this failed second entry was complete, you had just retested the overnight high. Now, when you retest the overnight high, that is a significant level, a very significant price level. And so I'm not going to enter short after one push up. I would want to see a couple legs up. And of course, I'm not going to count this red bar. I can see the first leg up, break, second leg up with those, the color of the bars. But that's not big picture enough. I would want to see a clear break and another one of these legs up before I enter short right after bouncing off of a key level. You want, because that could easily just give you 2 legs up. So not going to enter short right there. Unfortunately, there's, it looks pretty clear price action. You get 2 legs up, turning down right at the measured move. It's just, and then you form a reversal pattern right after, but unfortunately, it's just not giving clear entries. But anyway, we push on lower here. We get this, we retest the overnight high there. It's a first entry just coming off the lows of this range. This trend right here. When you come off one side of a trend, you want to see 2 attempts to reach the other side before you go short. So that's one reason not to go short right there. Also, you're just not reaching this key entry point or the EMA. So avoid going short there. But we do push down here. We start to bounce up. We get this higher low. We push up again. It's getting a little bit choppy. And then, we're pushing above the EMA here. Now, when we get these couple of pushes up there, that's when I started looking at this larger uptrend, which I'm going to adjust it to how it was exactly at the time. At the time, it was off of the bodies of those swings right there. And so we held a third time. And now, which let me back up for a second. So when we had this downtrend right here fading the overnight high, I was hoping to get a big picture failed second entry, kind of like this drawn out. So you can see with these 2 arrows right here, you'd have this first entry long, second entry long, and then you can get a failure entry right there. This could also be viewed as downtrend, break, first attempt lower, second attempt lower. Now, at this point right here, it was clear we had this uptrend, and so when you have an uptrend forming against this failed second entry, that is a problem for the failed second entry. You do have to consider this uptrend right here. It's clearly holding on this trend line. And so when I got this right here, this measured move is still in play. I can still expect price to attempt to make this big picture failed second entry, especially we have that measured move in play now, but also because of this uptrend that's forming. And so this long is basically, when I was taking this, I was thinking it could easily, as soon as it retests the overnight high or reaches this measured move, it could reverse from there, because this long was basically about completing this bigger picture structure. And so, I did push it 1 tick out. I had to use a limit order because I did not want to push it too far out of these highs, just in case, it finds strong resistance there. But, we were off this key entry point and we had this measured move in play. I was confident we can get a couple ticks out of this range. And so anyway, we do push on out of there and we don't form that big picture failed second entry like I was wanting, but we push up, we start getting choppy right here, we go into this range. Now notice we break out of these highs right here and then we fade back in. Now, unfortunately, no reason to go short. It's just getting more bullish at this point. You have this uptrend starting to form, which I'm going to adjust it back to that swing right there. And so we have this uptrend starting to form, and we're going sideways here. And then you get this, which I should mention this long right here first. I don't think this is a good long. It's just choppy, chops over to the EMA. Not a real reason to go long. Plus, there's no room to these highs, or not enough room. But we do break out, we fade back in, no reason to go short. Unfortunately, it's just, it breaks out and kind of gets choppy. And then here we do get this first entry long, second entry long, and it's off these lows. Now, at this point right here, I would be worried about how, it has been pretty choppy right here. You do have, this right here does act as a magnet. And so when you have a strong push down like that, and it's measured, it did nearly reach it right there, but I would still be worried about entering long off of it because just because it's not completely clear. It is still kind of choppy and into the EMA. Now, it did chop through the EMA a couple times with no problem, but to be safe, I would just skip out on that. I skipped out on that. But, I do see that second entry. It's just, you are buying with the breakout. You want to have a really clear entry right here, and I would just avoid it because it is below the EMA. But we push up here, we get this higher low, and at that point it's really choppy. I absolutely would not take that. There's just simply no room. Of course, this right here, also you would need a limit order on that because there's just not quite enough room. If I'll draw it out to show. Notice you'd have to push it quite a bit out. And then after we have this breakout right here, that's when I actually extended this range right there. We got more choppy, we push up. I see there's 2 legs up right there. To me, that's really just 1 leg up. And I would not go short right there, because even though the EMA has been sideways, you can tell it's still up at that point. So I would just avoid entering short into it. I mean, we clearly rejected. There's so much rejection at this level right here. Price couldn't even retest the overnight high again. That's really telling you the bulls are taking off. And so entering short is really risky right into that EMA. So unfortunately, there's no trade there. And it's also, once again, it's just 1 leg higher. I see there's a second entry, but that's really just 1 leg higher. Of course, I can draw that out with 1 leg like that. We do push down here. At this point, I was hoping we get 2 clear legs down. We don't get that. We just get 1 leg down. It's not high probability enough. It's unfortunate. The amount of movement wasn't terrible today. It's just it wasn't offering very many clear entries. It was kind of annoying at the beginning here. You're getting this perfect looking price action, that perfect measured move. You're almost getting that, this 2-legged break. It's holding well off this trend line, but you're just not getting many clear entries. I just had this one. But where was I? So here, anyway, unfortunately, just 1 leg down. I'd like to have seen, a break higher here, second leg right there off those lows. But anyway, we push on out here, break out of those highs. It fades back in. For the same reason I wasn't wanting to go short right here, it's the same thing here. We just had another major bounce off this level. We're still not reaching this overnight low. No reason to go short. The bulls are clearly winning out. And so I would not want to enter on this bar above the EMA again. Now, at this point here, I do think if you got a good reversal pattern, a good failed second entry, you absolutely could have looked for a 1-to-1 trade to go short, so long as you had room to, any kind of support. But I would definitely limit it to 1-to-1 because of the bullish bias. It's that simple. Because there are times when you can trade against the bias. For instance, right here, you can definitely look for a reversal pattern back in. But even if you have room, you don't want to push it past 1-to-1, because the bias, will often, screw you up on your counter bias trades, I suppose. So limit in your targets, and if you're new, then don't take trades against the bias. If you're new, you just got to understand it before you do that. But anyway, here we have 1 leg down. Wish we could have gotten 2 clear legs down. Unfortunately, we do bounce up here, and we start to get congestive at that previous swing high. And then another red bar, it's above the EMA. You don't want to enter short into that. This is another area where you could get a reversal pattern. You would just need room to this key entry point and these lows down here, which you don't get that. But you do get these 2 legs down right here. So this is a breakout pullback. You see we basically, which let me extend this range. We basically broke out of this range and are retesting this range and also off the key entry point right there. Now, it did just form a pretty major triple test, so I would avoid entering long under the EMA, because this actually is starting to look like a reversal. This is a topping pattern. It's at the same area as the previous swing, triple test, and then major pushes down, and then closing below the EMA. I actually think this right here, this actually looks pretty good. I was going to wait for something like this. I waited for a bit, and then I ended up just starting to make the video. But this actually looks pretty decent right here, because notice we have these 2 legs down, perfectly measured, off the key entry point. It took a bit to get above that EMA. It kind of struggled for a bit, but eventually we pushed above, and then we actually held above the EMA. And so this is a sign that this larger structure, this uptrend, is winning out over this reversal, which of course, notice how it trapped there. It ticked lower and just shot up higher. That's what a trap looks like. So this right here, it does look good. Just to ride to, these highs right here, I would avoid putting it past these highs, because there is clearly some kind of resistance there. Hopefully you got in on that. But anyway, so we push on up here. I don't like this at this point, because it's just right into these highs, which, these highs could be slightly higher. It could be slightly lower. But it's clearly right into those that resistance, so I would avoid entering long right there. But anyway, that's it for this video. I hope it helped out in some way. I hope you found this video useful. Of course, here's that bigger picture, measured move and play there. So anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate it.